So this is the fun for today. Quite a few things that I have to fix. The ground, of course, is not exactly appropriate. The main panel has got nothing but standard breakers in it, and it needs to have arc faults. So got to replace all of those. In the sub panel, common and ground are bonded and they need to be separate, so we've got to fix that. But quite a few bare wires, quite a few breakers to replace, so let's get on it. Well, I'm halfway through the job. Replaced, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 breakers, tidied up the panels, shortened some silly wires. And then I came across two breakers that had two circuits going to each, because the electrician was too damn lazy to put another breaker in, or wanted to save money and wanted to juice up a circuit. So not only are all the breakers wrong, but it's wired wrong. So now I've fixed that problem. I've run out of slots. I have 4 slots left, and I have 2 doubles that have to go in those slots. The problem is that the only way to fix the problem is to use what are called wafers, and wafers only fit in the lower slots. So now I have to rejig everything at the bottom end just to make these darn things fit. And this is driving me a little nuts, to be honest, and I'm getting more and more angry with the so-called electrician for leaving me in this position. But anyway, I'm moving along one step at a time. So at this point in time, at 3:15 in the afternoon, having started at 9 a.m., 6 hours of rewiring, fixing mistakes, replacing breakers, and it's all done. This was Marty Electric that did this work, and for certain were trying to screw me in the end game. But because they tried to screw me 3 times during the process, I actually cancelled their permit, took out a homeowner's permit, and wired the rest of the house myself. But they had done the panel, and had told me they'd done the panel, and I paid them to do the panel. But guess what? 20 or so standard breakers that should be arc fault or GFI. Wires cut short because they'd put standard breakers in, and of course you bring the common and the power to a GFI and an arc fault, so you have to bring the power and common to the same location. So there's a couple of wire nuts in there with extended wires, but it's neat and tidy now. There's a bunch of excess that's gone. There are 2 circuits at the top that I've curled up that I've called unknown. I'm sure I'll discover something that's not live, but at this moment in time, I got no idea what it would be. I've left 2 full standard breakers on the top that I can switch over to a double if I have to, because I believe that those 2 circuits are the refrigerator circuits, and they need to be a standard breaker, and are separate to the rest of the kitchen circuits, which are all GFI. So I'm going to test that out tomorrow. But I'm at the point now where I can go home because that panel is finished and I can juice it up. Watch for all the breakers to reset themselves, which they did. There are 2 that are turned off that are here, which are the microwave and countertop circuit, because I haven't put the outlets in, and the stove and the sub panel are both off because I'm going to be working in the sub panel tomorrow. So I know at this point I can certainly get that sub panel finished, and then I've got to hang a couple of lights and then everything is done. So quite the extensive problems in this sub panel. This is my fault. I combined ground and neutral, which I should not have done. I've got to put a separate ground bar in that panel and separate the grounds. Did not know that if there's an external disconnect, then the main panel has to be that same way too. But since it's not, the grounds and commons are all interconnected. But on the sub panel, they've got to be separate. So that sub panel only represents about an hour or so's work. So I will see. I'll see if that's true when I actually get on it. So the main panel is completely finished, labeled and finished. So I'm buttoning that up. I do have the 2 spare circuits that I don't know what they are. So I will have to jigger things around a little, even after calling it finished. But now it's time for the sub panel. First thing I got to do is separate the grounds. That's not trivial. I've got to mount a new ground bar and separate the grounds. So commons, of course, are there. Juice is there. And interesting. Let me see if I can physically mount a ground bar to the left-hand side and then get the grounds over to the appropriate places. Then start mounting some circuits, which is easy. Well, this was the point where I was going to celebrate completion of both panels. And then, of course, I screwed up the cover. Put it on upside down, put the breakers in, marked them all in the wrong places. So I'm not sure if the inspector's going to be okay with tape over the open holes. I believe he is, because I've seen hundreds of panels. If not, I just have to buy a new cover and put a new cover on, so no big deal. Leaving the room after running the new water heater line that I also had forgotten, I then noticed more connection boxes with covers missing. So I'm not done. Another trip back to Lowe's, go get some cover plates, but then I am done. So I'm going to call this finished and move on to the next thing.